The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome back to another episode of BillsAholic man. What a week. What a week to be a Bills fan. What a week to be on the BillsAholic pod. Travis, can you smell this thing, man? Can you smell this thing?
This close.
I mean, I don't think if, gosh, the draft was, back in like the last week of August or like the first week of September, something like that. You know, we're walking down into the draft room. We're down there. We're pretty nervous. We're pretty nervous.
We were late
right?
and nervous.
We were late for one.
I got pulled over.
He got pulled over. We were nervous for two. And we were just like, damn, man. We saw this thing sitting there, and we made a comment about how we wanted to bring something back home for Bills Mafia. And here we are. We got a chance to do that. Knocked off the – you know what, Travis? Travis, read it. What does that note say, man?
The Emerge Brandy – Emerge Barty is coming home. Tink Talk. No, it ain't. Big Yak. They're both out.
They're both gone.
They're both
gone. I mean, we can't hoist this thing yet. We'll set it back down. We'll put it off the stage here in a minute. But it's kind of funny because Tank's not here today. Tank's not here. Is it maybe because we knocked him out of the playoffs?
He was ducking
the
smoke.
Do you think maybe that's what it is, truthfully, today?
He was ducking.
Why he's not here? No. But what a week, man. What a week, right? I mean, Bills come off of a huge win. Well, I'll say a huge win because they need him. I mean, we can't lose, right? Big win, and then, you know, a lot of things fell into their favor other than that Dolphins game. Like, a lot, pretty much everything, right? As far as I'm concerned.
As John would say.
Shout out to that fraud-ass Drake Browning. And Indy, right? Indy lost?
Indy lost to the Falcons
that
as well.
helped, too.
And then there was...
High hopes for them.
Let's say the Steelers. Like I said, the Steelers coming up. I mean, they just...
Everything fell into place.
I would say everything
It was a
kind of
good weekend for Bills Mafia.
It was.
Kicked it off on Saturday, and then Sunday we just sat back and relaxed and watched football.
That's always like the goal. Like you just want to be able to watch football on Sunday, and just feel relaxed as a Bills fan. And most of the time you can't, right? Like on Sundays when the Bills play, it's like you're psyched up for the game. The game's on. You're all over the place. The Bills, it's like an emotional roller coaster. And this past Sunday, you know, was enjoyable. Like you said, to just be able to sit back, watch football, and not really worry about it. It's always nice. I just wish the Cowboys, man, like, come on.
They were right there.
Just win. Just win. Just get something done on the road for once.
The fraud boys.
I mean, it's just the fraud boys. Like, I mean, we're already starting the fraud count. Like,
Martin Kranick gave us
the tally.
the tally. What is it, 51? I think he
something
said.
like that.
51 times.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. He's shout out to Martin.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna give Martin a shout
He's
out
a
because
consistent listener.
he's a consistent listener that listens from opening like the intro
right.
the whole way through. Like,
He also can't guard me.
Wow.
We played once. I just had to throw it at them.
Is he over? Does he work out at
Every day I see him at Ultimate. Every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I still like I will say I love that place, dude. Like, even though I don't go anymore, but when I did go for that month, like, dude, just being able to hoop every day and stuff like that was just super awesome. Like, that place, right? I love that place, bro.
Yeah.
I just hate having the schedule I have. It's brutal. It is brutal. You can't guard me either.
You can't guard me, ball.
No, I definitely can't. Dude. You're so right. I remember the one day we were playing, and me and Ben were running, like, we were running twos or something. It was like finally a day where, like, nobody could touch me, and then you hopped out there and you just ruined my whole entire experience.
Travis, he scored two straight. He flexed. I guarded him. He had one rebound and no points.
Was it in the paint?
Oh yeah,
because if you get him away from the paint,
I can't do nothing.
You don't gotta guard him.
I'll let him sit in the paint. Don't worry. Oh man. All right, back to
I would say I'm just gonna leave that subject behind because you know, yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm not a basketball player. I'm a football fan. I'm a football fan. No, but a great, like, back on to the normal scheduling. Obviously, that game's not pretty. I mean, you play the Chargers.
Terribly ugly.
It was ugly, but me and you said it best after the game. Just find a way to win.
Yeah.
Like, Josh Allen said it a couple weeks ago when we started to go on this little run. Josh said every game now is a playoff game. Like, you can't afford to lose. And, I mean, if we were in the playoffs, if that game's a playoff game, yeah, you're not going to really hear me complain because, okay, we're moving on to the next week.
Yeah.
Like, if you think of it like that, like, obviously, yeah, you want to play your best football in December, but at the same time, just find a way to win. Like, you need to get in the win column. That's first and foremost. And, I mean, that's exactly what they did. Like I said, being a Bills fan, we all know it in this room.
Oh, yeah.
It's
They
a roller coaster of emotions.
say it takes 10 years off your life every game.
I was going to say, man,
I'm getting close then.
I was going to say, man, I got nothing working for me. Being a Bills fan, stressful. Being in the car business, stressful. I might be living a short life. Just mostly because of the Bills. Yeah, man. Offense, like, what did you?
Shaky.
I want to ask you guys a question. What, out of all of the games Joe Brady's called, was that? Where do you rank that? Like, was that one of his? Like, I don't think it was necessarily his worst game. Like, I really don't like. But at the same time, I just wasn't a fan of. There were some things I wasn't a fan of. It was tough. Although there's something I'm going to touch on. I'll let you answer that question, but there's something I'm going to touch on that specifically I want to talk to you about.
I know exactly who you're talking about too.
No, I don't think you know what I'm going with. I don't think you know what I'm going to go with here.
Because you know the first words out of my mouth is Gabe Davis.
Oh, I'm not.
Anyway,
What was
I got
that?
nothing to say.
Gabe Davis, bitch.
Oh. No,
That's how I had it written in the notes.
No,
I
we
have
can
to say
we
that
can
way.
talk about Gabe Davis because I had that in my notes too. We see him like what, once every 6 games?
Something like
And
that.
that 6th game is a high for me.
I mean, let's just say for him being a number 2 wide receiver, it's like you sit back and you're just like Gabe Davis. Yeah, okay, you show up big every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You're not a number 2 wide receiver. I'm sorry, but
I don't.
But-
I just don't-
but let me give credit where credit's due.
I'll give him credit.
Let me give credit
Hell
where
of a
credit's due.
game.
He had a hell of a game. But the other thing that he continues to be the best wide receiver on the Bills roster at this is getting gritty and run blocking. Like, I have
Just
no
not
doubt in
enough
my
for
mind
wide receiver
when we bounce the ball out to the outside and Gabe Davis is the wide receiver blocking on, like, setting the edge for James Cook or something like that, I have the utmost confidence in him. Like, he for sure he has it made. He might be a better blocker than Dalton Kincaid, if I'm being honest with you. And obviously he doesn't even have he has a way smaller frame, but he's dude, he gets gritty in the run blocking. I like that.
You made it worthy that one James Cook to run to the outside. You said had that been Gabe Davis blocking, that's a James Cook first down.
That's me giving Gabe Davis love. Something
was-
I don't do often, man.
Right?
I don't know what receiver it was.
I don't know, but that I can specifically remember that
He
exact
said
play.
that.
I can
Had
specifically
that
remember
been
that
Gabe
exact
Davis, that's a first down for James Cook.
I believe it.
I say a lot of things during the Bills game. I did say when they were down 10-0, I was like, okay, this is going to be the game that the Bills built, and they're going to lose.
It was
I
looking
was
like
wrong.
it for about.
But
Not back to Joe Brady.
I was going to say, yeah, the Joe Brady question.
I got nothing for him. I didn't have an issue with his game plan. I mean, the execution was piss poor poverty.
I got
was.
no problem with it. It's just the Bills all season, they played down to their opponents. You put that performance in the playoffs, you're not winning a game in the playoffs.
I guess the good news is, because you're 100% right, the Bills play down to their opponents. I guess the good news is like the Bills, besides the Patriots coming to town this week, their next opponents are
4-11.
going well, yeah, but their next opponents after the Patriots, barring anything crazy, like barring anything that they don't make the playoffs somehow, right?
7%.
They're going to play obviously the best of the best in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe week in and week out we'll get the Bills that we want to see. Because you're right, they show up against teams that they should.
Oh, they do.
And then the teams that they should just breeze by, they don't. But I will say, like, not that I want to make excuses, because if you're a playoff team, you should be able to figure these things out, and you should be able to get these games done by like a landslide. But I will say, a short week, you travel all the way out west.
Mm-hmm.
You've got an interim offensive coordinator. I'm not saying there should be excuses there, because he's going on now almost a month and a half, 2 months of having the job. But like, you have a lot of different things that add up into this game, and not to mention, you have no film on Easton Stick. You have the 63-21 blowout loss that got Brandon Staley fired. Like, okay, like that's what you got to go off of. That's the film you get to study. That performance. You know damn well with a new head coach that you got nothing on. Gift Smith, you got nothing on the guy. You got nothing. Like you don't know what to prepare for. Damn near. And it's been almost proven this year. Your head coach gets fired. You got embarrassed last week on National Football. Of course, you got the Bills coming into town. Of course, you're gonna give them your best shot. Like it's like right around like, and they did things differently. Like they did things differently. The way they ran their offense was a little bit different. And then on defense, like you look at what they did on defense. Derwin James, I'm not a Chargers fan. I don't watch Chargers games, but from what I saw on Twitter, Derwin James played in the box a lot, which was different for them this year. Like you didn't see as much of him getting that close to the line, and I thought he had a good game. Derwin James was effective the whole entire game against the Bills.
Well, like Josh said, the most dangerous team in the NFL when they have nothing left to lose. That's the most dangerous team.
It's like you got nothing to lose and you have nothing on them. Like you just don't know what they're gonna come out and do. Like I thought for what it was worth, like the Chargers obviously gave him a good shot, and I mean they were close to unfortunately beating us, but like I said, there's a lot of different factors that game. It's just like at least you know when the Patriots coming to town this week, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a good defense, and you're gonna get a piss poor Bill Belichick offense led by what's his name? Like what
Bill O'Brien?
No, their quarterback's name.
Zappy?
Bailey Zappy.
Or one half Mac Jones, one half Bailey Zappy.
But no, that's just my thoughts on that. Like
I get where you're coming from. It's just frustrating as a Bills fan, and the Bills are a very good team. They're a playoff team. It's just frustrating when you play down to the opponent, and you're not playing like that playoff caliber team. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Oh, it does. I will say,
especially when you're playing a team that has 5 wins on the season and is without their star quarterback, and without their wide receiver 1 and 2. And their star edge rusher. It just rubs you the wrong way.
What I found kind of funny was last week I did watch the Chargers get obliterated on Thursday Night Football, whatever it was, where they lost 63-21 and they fumbled the ball 5 times. It felt like every play they were just handing the ball to the Raiders. What I will say is the one thing that like caught my eye that I just wish maybe the Bills would have looked at, that like maybe you don't do this, is their punt returner caught the ball, turned upfield, and then turned around and then got smacked and got the ball absolutely just taken right from him, right? I love that Deontay Hardy has the bright idea to run forward, run backwards, get the ball taken.
And then fumble the ball.
I'm gonna respectively say Deontay Hardy might be the biggest free agents bust that I think Brandon Beane has had in his era.
And this is a dude that has
I have his jersey. I have his jersey, man.
I don't blame him for saying it, but I mean the dude gets 3 snaps a game.
He
fumbled once on a punt return.
Yeah, okay. I'll forget the fumble. Okay, I'll forget the fumble. I mean, you gotta think like, okay, yeah, he's only getting a couple snaps during the games. Like you're right. Like he's only getting a handful of snaps. My one thing about him is, what's he showing during the week to get himself on the field? Like
you have to take Kincaid off the field to play him. They signed him before they drafted Kincaid. You know what I mean? There's nothing. I mean, what do you want to do? Take Kincaid off the field to put Hardy on the field? Do you take James Cook off the field to put Hardy on the field?
I don't.
Do you take Diggs off? Do you take Gabe off? Who do you take out?
I don't know. You know what
I'm saying?
That's a good point.
That's my. I don't think it's anything that he's doing in practice. I think it's.
I don't know, man.
Situation.
Me and Travis had this discussion before the season started, and during the off season, it was just like, you sign Sherfield, like it's like, okay, Sherfield. Then you sign Hardy, and it's like, oh, these guys are gonna.
You want to go deep?
They're gonna vertically stretch the field for you, and they're gonna open things up down the field. They're gonna open things up. They're gonna open up the mid passing game, the short passing game, because they're vertical threats.
You're gonna be a 3-level threat.
And
short, medium, long.
I don't know, and obviously it's just frustrating because it's been nothing like that. And the other thing to think about, I guess, now is Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator. It's not the same offensive coordinator that was during the offseason. It's just frustrating, man. Like, because I want Deontay Hardy to work. Like I like you said, I got his jersey. Like, I might be the only person in Buffalo that has a Deontay Hardy jersey. Maybe besides his family. I don't know. And it's just frustrating, man. I'm a frustrated Deontay Hardy fan, man.
I get what you're saying, because before the season, when we make all these signings and then we drafted Kincaid, we kind of thought the direction the offense was going. Josh is going to be throwing it all over the field. But I get what you're saying.
Right.
I wouldn't put too much stock in it. He's here for another year. Joe Brady will most likely be here.
You know who I'm going to pound the table for, though?
Who's that?
Shakir, man. Shakir.
That's my guy.
I will say that one catch across the middle. I'm not even the catch where his knee hit the ground. He almost got back up and scored the touchdown. Shakir, that one catch across the middle where Josh put it a little bit behind him, and it was a third down. And he still managed to, he bobbled it, but still managed to reel it in. It's just like, dude, Shakir finds a way to be sneaky. Every once in a while when you need him, he comes up.
That's the dude that earns his playing time.
I think going into next year, I'm putting some stock in Khalil Shakir, man. Of the
Putting
wide
some money
receiver
on his
core,
jersey?
what's the maybe I don't know. I don't have the best track record with Bills jerseys. I've got the Hardy jersey, and obviously we just had that discussion about him. Maybe if I get a Khalil Shakir jersey, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault that the Bills receivers don't perform that well. But I got to ask you guys, though, speaking of Bills wide receivers, and the reason I'm bringing this up is we've seen this since Joe Brady's taken over. We've seen a huge decrease in Stephon Diggs' production. Now, we've seen an increase. We've seen an increase in other productions across the field, but a big decrease in Diggs' production. And I don't know if there's a nagging injury. I don't know what it is. And I know he's not getting 14, 15 targets like he was week 1 through 10. But I just want your guys' thoughts and kind of see what you guys think about the.
I know earlier on in the season we were preaching to save his targets and receptions for later on in the season, but we left that.
Well, Ben, my boy Ben from work, shout out to Ben, just texted me and said his exact text. By the way, shout out to Ben for watching the podcast.
Shout out, Ben.
Worst investment of your life, Deontay Hardy jersey. Who does that? Shout out to Ben.
He's hilarious.
Shout out to Ben. You'll never see me wear that jersey at work.
Damn.
On Saturdays.
No, but early on in the season we were preaching, let's save Diggs for the playoffs, postseason, all that. But I don't think we were expecting this. His numbers drastically dropping. What was it? He hasn't had a 100-yard game
since the Broncos
game. Yeah.
Since the game that got Ken Dorsey fired. Now, what I will say is, the nice thing about the whole entire thing with this recent Diggs lack of production is you've seen production from other guys. Number one, first and foremost, James Cook. I mean, like I've said at the Bills games, I've said it on here, he is your best playmaker now. James Cook, he offers so much, dude, between getting 5.6 yards per carry and, being effective in the pass game. It's just I think that's the one thing that's nice is seeing some production out of him. You've seen some production out of Kincaid, some of these other receivers like Shakir. Davis this past week has a huge game. It's nice to see some stuff from other guys, but it's just I don't know, it gets a little concerning because that's your number one guy, right? That's the guy that you're supposed to just feel the utmost comfortable in just him showing up week in and week out. And I don't know, man. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts, especially yours down there. I'd like to get your thoughts.
He's
on
graded bottom 10th of the league in separation. He's got nothing, man. He can't get separation. And like you said, dude, when you average 14 targets, you're bound to catch a few. I get that he had the best corners on him and he gets double covered and whatever, cool. But when he has his single coverage or when there's a lack of the double coverage and whatnot, he is not getting separation. If you watch the All-22, he's got, minus the one where Allen underthrew him on the pick, which no human's going to make that throw either way.
Right, on the run.
Yeah, that is insane that he even tried that.
Not putting a lot of stock into that one.
No, that was his most separation. I think he had 4-point-something yards of separation. That was his best all game.
See, that's why I love having you on the podcast.
You're welcome, man.
That's why.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, people forget he is 30.
Right.
You know?
It's getting to that. It's
And-
almost getting to that point.
What is it? The past 5 or so seasons, he had 1,000 yards, something crazy like that. Like
four seasons
Yeah.
in a row for the Bills. I don't know in that last year. I think he did have.
he might have.
I would say a couple.
But I mean, that's a
years
lot
with
of
the Vikings. This is
production
his best
from
year,
a
so.
you know from a separator too. You know, you're thinking of like guys like D Hop. You've seen his decline. Julio Jones. These separators. I mean, they can only do it for so long because I mean, DBs are athletic. I mean,
Right.
They're fast, athletic, and it's tough. So
I will say though, I do love the attitude coming out of Stephon Diggs. He went on Instagram. Shefty posted about his 100-yard, what's been happening with him, and the top comment was, "Shit, at least we winning." I'm loving the attitude.
I mean, I yeah.
just want to throw it out there. Gabe Davis had that same attitude.
This guy puts a lot in Gabe Davis.
I
stock,
do
man.
love him. It is what it is.
It's so tough.
I gotta
because-
stick with it if I'm gonna
Hey,
keep
man.
saying it.
Hey,
You know?
man, and I mean, this is a week where it's like you hop on the podcast and
Yeah.
you got no reason to not do it.
Next week, like 2 catches, 15 yards.
He might not even have a target next week. He might not even get on the field. Who knows?
Well, he'll
just
be on the
pointing
field
out-
for 90% of snaps.
Which that's what
Blocking.
concerns me a little bit is he's on the field for 90% of the
He's
snaps,
blocking.
and sometimes he
Yeah.
doesn't even get on the stat sheet. But he is so effective
Yeah.
in the run blocking game. It's just that it's almost that's fun to watch the way he handles DBs.
I did want to bring up that it's concerning to me that the Bills have to have one guy go off. Like last week it was Cook. This week
Right.
it's Gabe. A little bit of Shakir in there. Previous weeks it's fucking Diggs with 9 catches, 100 and something yards. You know what I mean? Kincaid will have his day. What did Kincaid do this game? A couple catches, I think? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he only had like a few.
Yeah.
He was not really on the stat
So
sheet.
it's like, to me, it's like,
Past 2 weeks,
how
he had
can
it.
you not get the ball to all your playmakers? It's the same thing with Hardy. Like, dude, he's on the field for a couple snaps. He might get a target, and then he's out. Poor Sherfield, dude. He's out there for like 3-4 snaps, and all he does is block.
yeah, I know.
You know what I
He's
mean?
got
It's
2
like,
catches on the season.
yeah, I don't understand how you can't get the ball to all these players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see.
It has to be 1 or 2 guys that are the focal point.
100%.
That's concerning to me.
It is a little concerning. What I will say is it's kind of funny. You throw Sherfield and Gabe Davis out there, and it's just
Yeah.
like, yep, okay, they're running the
Yep.
football. Yep. Not come on, man. Hit me with a play action. Like
Something.
Gabe's okay, yeah. Obviously, I give Gabe a lot of shit, but Gabe, he can get open. Like like you run a play action, he can get open if you run that a couple of times. Like he will find his way open. Sherfield, I mean, we watched so much Miami Dolphins Sherfield clips, like me and Travis, and it's just like. I thought I was like, wow, the way they could use this guy, like this could be something, right? Like this could really be something.
Wide
with him.
receiver 3 last year for the
And-
Dolphins.
And obviously, this season might just be really tough to read into their pickups from last year, especially on the offensive side of things, because like it's not often where you get an offensive coordinator change in the middle of the season. I mean, when you have an offensive coordinator, I'm sure there's talks in the offseason like between the coaches and the management staff where it's like, okay, this is what we want. Like we want somebody that can gain separation, somebody that's a little bit faster. Like I'm sure these talks happen, right? Like throughout the whole entire offseason. That's why they go out and get a guy like Hardy and Sherfield.
Yeah.
And then you have a whole entire coaching change. And I mean, clearly Joe Brady's he's done things differently. Like the run game's a more important thing in the Bills offense than it was weeks 1 through 10. And like it's I'm sure that's probably all it is. And I'm sure you give, like you said, if Joe Brady gets his shot to be an offensive coordinator next year, it's going to be like you're probably going to see different free agents brought in, different types of free agents that you wouldn't have seen had Dorsey been the offensive coordinator. I don't know if you guys kind of get what I'm saying with that, but
We only got 4 wide receivers returning next year.
Yeah,
So
so
the
you
wide
got-
receiver room is going to look different.
so you got Diggs, Hardy, Shakir,
Shorter,
Shorter.
if he ever gets on the field.
Yeah, I don't even know. That's the other tough thing is in the wide receiver core that the Bills have right now. It's like if you almost can't even throw Shorter out there right now. Like not that I'm maybe this week you could, but like it's just tough, man.
no.
You're at the point where it's
some-
not time to see what you got there.
They're in trouble with their roster because they have to cut.
I'm glad you.
They
yeah.
got to demote or cut somebody
They're
to
at
have,
52 players.
They can only bring one up, so that means you either shut down Daquan Johnson or you shut down Elam or you got to shut down 2 players
Or cut some.
or
Make
cut
some
somebody.
cuts.
Well, you can't cut any of those guys. So
No, I'm thinking like the leading cuts probably Alec Anderson, Jermaine Ifedi.
maybe. Well, I wouldn't even go any offensive lineman.
You wouldn't?
No. I mean, we've been blessed this year to not have an O-lineman
Right.
go out.
I get what you're saying.
But you have a couple injuries here and there. I mean,
I know Kingsley Jonathan has been showing up too with the pass rushing.
You almost need him on your 53 with the way Von's playing.
I was just gonna say Von Miller's.
That's
piss
a good
poor.
point. I was just reading up. I was looking at the article that you were bringing up.
Yeah.
And there were some key guys like Alec Anderson, Kingsley Jonathan. One said Poona Ford, which I don't know how you can cut Poona Ford after the game he just
I was
had.
about to say we haven't even talked about the Bills' defense yet, but that's something I wanted to hit on. Poona Ford.
It would have to be.
But you're
if
right,
anybody,
though. They're in trouble.
It's going to have to be Ty Johnson. 'Cause he's the only one that you don't have.
It's tough.
Money involved with.
It's tough, man, because
and he's been showing up.
I was just about to say the Bills. You
got your two call ups with Leonard Fournette, and then you get unlimited in the playoffs. So Ty Johnson, it's tough. He's been making plays for the Bills, but it's a business at the end of the day.
I mean, Bean will figure something out because I'm pretty sure Daquan Jones is either going to play this week or he's going to play at Miami. So.
I was about to say, like, if you think
you need Daquan back,
if you think for a second that Bean didn't, when he opened up Jones' 21-day window, if you think for a second that he didn't have something kind of already mapped out in the back of his head about how he was going to work these last couple of weeks, I mean, it's
we might
see
a fan favorite go. Or
I truly don't think so.
Or back on the practice squad.
I don't think you're going to see Ty Johnson go. I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't, because he offers now. I don't know. I don't know how bad his injury is. Like, potentially, if I don't know if it's possible for them to shut him down for the season. That could be something, depending on how bad that AC joint shoulder injury was.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
But I mean, it's just that it's tough. It's tough, just because you're right. But I don't think you're going to see a fan favorite go. I mean, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see for sure.
Make something happen, but you're going to have to shut down. Shorter's going to get shut down. I don't think there's a prayer he makes the roster. And then you have to make a choice. Do you want Elam as backup, or who else do you demote?
Can you fully shut down like a player like that after they've been activated off? So he was on IR. They activated him back.
After the 21-day window, if you don't just put him on the roster, he goes on season-ending IR.
Okay, interesting. Now, I want to just. I know we got a bunch of games to get into here, but I want to get into the Bills defense real quick, because the Bills defense. I mean, the Bills offense really put them in a shit spot the whole entire game, and the Bills defense I thought had a pretty solid day, especially the interior defensive line. I will continue to pound the table to say that Oliver contract is looking every single week that contract looks friendlier and friendlier.
He's overplaying it too.
He's exactly what you would have wanted when you drafted him. Like, he's starting to just make that noise. He's really coming into his own. And it's nice. The reason I'm pointing him out is it's really nice to see him have the production he's having right now without having Daquan Jones next to him. Like, it was nice to see it in the beginning of the season, because you just knew Daquan Jones, obviously, he's a run stuffer. Like, he had somebody else next to him that was pretty effective, right? And he was producing. And then Daquan Jones goes out. You see Ed Oliver off the stat sheet, I feel like, a little bit. And then he just starts to come into his own, where he's been effective like the last couple weeks. It was nice to see on the sidelines Sean McDermott say, hey, we need a sack.
I was going to say.
And okay. And he goes out there, and he's the one that gets it done.
I was going to say, you're seeing the leadership, too. He's forming into that leadership veteran that you want on that D-line.
He's a dog, man. And I'm happy we have him for a couple more years, because I really, truly, I love Eddie, man. Like, I love the energy he brings. Like, after every sack, he is just energetic.
I love it.
He's constantly, dude, he's just got the drive, man. He's got that drive. And then Poona Ford, I'm going to be honest with you, it's tough, because the Bills' defensive tackle room, when Daquan Jones is healthy, is probably one of the best defensive tackle rooms in the NFL. Yeah. Like, you got Ed Oliver, who's having probably his best year of his career so far. Daquan Jones easily was going to have the best year of his career if he doesn't tear his pec. I mean, he was having just a lights-out season. Poona Ford sitting on the bench, and Poona Ford comes in and has a really good game. Tim Settle, I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but those
Jordan Phillips.
Jordan
Phillips has a good game here and there.
Phillips was probably having one of his better years of his little couple of years stint with the Bills before he got hurt too. It's just, damn, dude, like that's a five defensive tackles right there.
And only one of those are past this season. All the rest are free agents.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So
Ouch.
we got some problems in the offseason.
I will say,
Yeah, this
I was
podcast
never
is
a Ned
really
Oliver
interesting.
guy. I'm glad he's playing to that contract because I was hot. I was really hot.
Right.
But yeah, he had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, which are the 2 sacks. He hit an incentive with the sacks. Too.
$500K.
yeah.
500K it was. I also have here Puna Ford had a really nice game, but like you said, I mean,
It's probably the
it's,
guy that you
it's
see.
tough. He'll be gone. I'm sure Tim Settle will be gone. He's had moments, but yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do because I would think you sign Daquan Jones back, but I mean the dude's a walking injury.
Yeah.
I mean he's hurt every year, which sucks.
I get
But
it. Yeah.
you're gonna sign one of them. I wouldn't be shocked if Jordan Phillips comes back for 1 year, 2-3 mil, 4 mil maybe. Team friendly thing, but
Right. While
yeah,
we're
we'll
on-
see.
While we're on the discussion of just defensive line too, I mean, you mentioned it, Kingsley Jonathan. I think I say it every single time we're watching a game with each other.
Get him out of here.
Get Von Miller off the field. And dude, I said it last week while we were sitting on the couch watching the game. I looked at him. I was like, anybody sitting on this couch right now. Obviously, I'm messing around when I say this, but anybody sitting on, and I'm almost not at this point, but anybody that was sitting on that couch watching that game, it was just like, well, I watched Von Miller for probably a 3-4 play stretch, and it's just like, dude, okay, do you not trust your knee? Like, or what truly is it? Because like, there's plays where he's just like, dude, there's no effort. Like, there's no effort out of the guy. Like, it's frustrating to watch because you put Kingsley Jonathan out there, who's, I mean, he's not an idiot. He knows he's out of all the defensive ends, he's the last one on the roster. But he goes out there and at least he knows what he's got to play for, right? He's got a job to play for. Dude, it's just frustrating to watch because Von Miller, it just seems like he's just a name at this point.
He doesn't have that quote unquote second wind. Like the initial rush gets stopped, he doesn't have that extra boost. But yeah, it's there's something to be said when Shaq Lawson is taking pass rush reps away from somebody. He's here to set an edge.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, like you said, Kingsley Jonathan, I mean, he's playing for his career, really. I mean, I have a big issue with the D-line, though, man. Easton Stick made them look like fools. Like, that was bad. Like, they couldn't set the edge.
No pressure.
Minus Ed Oliver, the interior was wide open, which I won't say that. Puna Ford is not a pass rusher.
No.
I did not expect him to wreak havoc in the pass rush. He did a very nice job with in the run game, but did no pressure off the edges. Floyd might have had his worst game as a Bill, I would say, which fine.
Which I was gonna say you can almost forget.
Yeah,
with how
you
the
can
season he's had.
completely forget that. I thought Rousseau was almost didn't show up,
Exactly.
which I was actually shocked
It
because
sucks,
their
dude.
left tackle is not very good. But
Their line's not very good either.
It's frustrating to watch
we're all
for sure.
distracted.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on. We're all distracted there, but it's frustrating to watch because you have Greg Rousseau, who's a first-round pick 2 years ago, who's you just expect him to be a little bit more than what he is. The guy had a solid beginning of the season. Again, when you had a healthy Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver,
It opens up other spots.
Leonard Floyd. It I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like when you sit back, that shouldn't have something to do with it.
He had a nice game, I will say. I think he was in on a sack. He might have recorded half a sack. Maybe, I don't know if they gave it to him. But just from what we kind of expect from him now that's probably one of his lower end games.
He's my boy, trust me.
Yeah,
I want him to ball out, man. Like I want him to be the
I'm
best
not saying
defensive
he
lineman on
was
the field.
terrible,
But
from what we've
I agree
seen
with
from
you.
him
I
the
agree with
past
you.
couple weeks, that was kind of.
I don't disagree in the slightest. Where it's
I also
annoying.
actually have something for that. They're chipping him a lot more than Vaughn now. So what I hate to see, I love seeing Rousseau and Floyd on the field together because one of them's getting chipped, one of them's not. One's one-on-one, or if they chip both, now you're taking 2 receivers out of a play. But with Vaughn, they're letting the right tackle in. Just eat him up.
Right.
I know the right tackle's name, and I can't think of his name. Whatever, but he ate him up. I mean,
He did.
scary.
It's frustrating to watch. A couple of times we pointed that out where it's just like there's no pressure, dude. Like this is it was so infuriating to watch because you're right. Like Leonard Floyd probably had his worst game as a Bill, but you can dismiss that.
Allowed.
The guy has what 10.5
I'll
sacks. this year?
happily dismiss
Allowed.
Rousseau too. I mean,
I'll dismiss it as well, but
Like-
this is the time of the year where you'd like to see.
yeah, for sure.
Like
for sure.
I want to see Greg Rousseau winning these one-on-one battles. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that you want to see, and I mean maybe that's something that starts to pick up some steam here before the playoffs.
I think Rousseau might have played his highest snap count this week, just because I mean your depth is isn't necessarily there.
Right now.
When Epinesa gets back, I mean, I think you're going to see
I miss that.
a better pass rush.
Yeah. I miss AJ Epinesa.
He's balling this year.
It sucks because the Bills being with their cap space that they have right now. It absolutely sucks that the Bills likely won't be able to bring. Obviously, there's a big group of guys that have to that are due for contracts that are just obviously not going to get second contracts with the Bills. And it almost feels like maybe AJ Epinesa is unfortunately one of those guys.
I unfortunately think a team like the Panthers, I've said it before, they'll scoop them for 13 and a half.
Yeah.
Something the Bills can't touch. I mean, you might get Floyd for another year if you can get him to sign for 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. But, I mean, he's going to come off of double-digit sacks. So
Right. And you just don't know if you're going to get the same.
Like KC, that's their prime candidate
to
just scoop.
Well, exactly, because that's somebody that can come in and finish a game.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need another receiver. We'll just sign this guy.
And the other thing I want to say that I was like, so obviously almost losing to the Chargers, that's one thing where you're just kind of like holding your breath the whole entire game, right? But when Bernard went down and was holding his ankle, I was like, bro.
The commercials kept going and going. I'm like, I literally looked at Casey and I'm like, this isn't a good sign. He came back. He had a nice game.
Right. I was like, dude, who's gonna step in if it's like, is it really gonna be Dorian Williams at this point? Like, I was holding my breath. Dude, that whole entire commercial break you're talking about.
Yeah.
Scared shitless the whole entire time. Going on Twitter, like looking to see like who's tweeting about what.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was scared, dude.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Minus the D line. I think. I mean, Rasul Douglas had a nice game. Really, I mean, if you take away all those scrambles from Stick, I think they don't score 20. But I think the back end had a nice game. Was it you? Somebody said it or posted that all Taylor Rapp wants to do is concuss somebody.
I might have said something
like that.
I have a tendency to talk about Taylor Rapp like that.
Dude, I am bought in on him. I don't know why. He sucks in coverage, but
he can
he
lay a
hits.
boomstick, man.
Yeah.
He can. I don't dislike that. It just seems like it just
You don't
sucks
care
that
who's in front of him.
about 90% of the time when he lays a boomstick, it just happens to be one of his players.
Yeah. But
I mean, that's
defensively, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not putting too much stock in this game. You're coming off of a team that just got embarrassed for 1.
Like I said,
they got their coach fired for 2, and they got nothing to play for. So
yeah, I mean,
when you get
play
teams
as
like
loose
that,
as you can like that.
You just have to weather the storm, which the Bills did, thankfully. Yeah, that's a classic trap game for any team.
100%.
It's classic.
100%.
So, but you see this a lot.
I had one comment about the defense. Like I hate this defense. I'm one of these guys. Like, can't they never get the stop when you need them to?
Yeah.
But in the fourth quarter, they forced them in to do 3 field goals.
Yeah.
Especially after the fumble. Which I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
And I was so mad at the offense because they weren't aggressive. They're like, the defense will be fine. But they did have to stop them and hold them to field goals 3 times in the fourth quarter. So I was mad at them all game. But in the fourth quarter, I'm like, all right, they're not giving up any big plays. They'll give up the 3 because they feel if Josh gets the ball back with 4 or 5 minutes, he'll come down and they'll get the field goal. But the defense did in the fourth quarter kind of say, all right, okay, enough. Enough is enough with these guys. Yeah. But it took to like the fourth quarter when we're letting them creep up on us. I'm like, finish the freaking game.
Yeah.
And I don't defend this team at all. Like I get because I used to defend it back in the 90s and I just don't do it anymore. So
that's respect. That's respect.
But I thought, and I'm like I said, I'm no apologist for that defense at all. But in the fourth quarter, I'm like, all right, they're not giving up a touchdown here, which they've not been able to stop a touchdown in the fourth quarter in how many games this year?
Right.
There's a ton of games where they're like, screw the team. So.
Right.
If you're going to hold a team in the playoffs or even these next 2 games, you're going to hold them to, 5-6 field goals, you win. You should win.
100%.
So,
I mean,
I agree with them, man. If you're going to hold a team to field goals, I won't sniffle at the defense.
Yeah, it's just so what I will say is it's like the playoff race is obviously it's starting to kind of you're getting an idea of who's going to make it and who likely won't. For the most part, this past week kind of not definitively put you in a position where you know what's going to happen, but you're starting to get an idea, right? And dude, there's just teams that are in the playoffs that it's just like you're right, like the Browns, dude. That's an offense. You're telling me right now that if we somehow play the Browns, Sean McDermott can't scheme up a decent defense to stop Joe Flacco.
I don't know, man.
He's balling. He's balling. I know.
Yeah,
I know what you're thinking over there. But I'm just using it as an example because
Yeah.
it's like that's probably a team where you do hold them to a couple of field goals and but they got a good defense too and it's just an interesting playoffs. I think I said in our group chat it's a refreshing thing to see that the AFC is not it's not running through Arrowhead this year.
No.
It's likely going through M&T Bank Field or whatever in Baltimore. It's just interesting, man. It's cool to sit back and see.
It's crazy to think that the only 3 teams that can win the conference: Dolphins, Ravens, Browns.
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
If I'd have told you that in September, you might have maybe believed the Ravens. You probably would have believed the Dolphins. But if you'd have said the Browns, wait a second. Again, he said the Browns were going to win the Super Bowl.
I called the Browns to the Super Bowl beginning of the year.
That's right.
Yeah, and Casey made sure I didn't forget that. So yes, I did.
God.
I just got to ask, what led you to say something?
Why?
Like
What
that?
was going through your mind?
I'm looking at their roster. I'm like, oh man, Deshaun. I think he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna be Deshaun Watson. That didn't happen. And I was like, oh, this DTR kid's cool. He stinks. Damn. We get the
I was
Joe
really
Flacco. Okay. I'm looking at the roster at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, man, this might be. You know how the Jets were saying we're gonna be a generational defense. I'm looking at the Cleveland roster. I'm like, dude, that might be a generational defense. I'm like, come on, dude. Chubb, Amari Cooper, Deshaun. I'm like, dude, and Njoku. I don't know why. What possessed me? I was like,
that team might win the
I'm
Super
like,
Bowl.
dude, Browns are the Super Bowl, and I stuck to it. And
You have.
apparently Joe Flacco's gonna get them there. So
You should have put a
Well,
little parlazo on that, or
can't make
or a
future
straight play.
Can't make future bets in New York State, man.
You can't.
Wow. Yeah.
Nope.
New
I
York
could have
State.
called somebody up from North Carolina or something, but
New York State's just.
Put a little 5 on
yeah,
it.
yeah. I don't
Imagine
know.
that payout.
I don't know what the odds were for that one.
Couldn't tell you. Hey, I got a
Browns Super
quick
Bowl.
scenario from our boy Sneaky Joe. There's a scenario where the Bills are locked into the 6th seed after Week 17, and he says, "Would we be debating playing backups in Miami?" Now the scenario would be Buffalo has to beat New England. Miami actually beats Baltimore in this scenario. Cleveland beats the Jets, KC over Cincinnati, Seattle over Pitt, and Carolina over Jacksonville. Couple games that you're like, don't know. But if that was all to happen, we lock in this. We're locked in the 6th seed, and even if we win or lose to
Yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Miami, we're stuck in the 6th seed. So
I want,
something to keep an eye on if things go south. I mean,
want that division, man.
Oh, 100%,
yeah,
100%.
but
I'm just
but I get
throwing
what
this
he's
out
saying.
there.
So he's saying
We lock in the spot.
so he's saying if you're leaving one Bills
Mm-hmm.
drive on Sunday. By the way, the Bills, Patriots, and Dolphins, Ravens, they play at the same time.
Yep.
So walking out of the game, you're gonna have an idea of
What's that at 1?
both
Yep.
at 1 o'clock. So
Well, one.
so walking out of the stadium, you're gonna know what Week 18 means for the Bills. Like you're gonna
Right.
know. And it's I can say if the division's no longer on the line, there is no point for the Bills to play starters. If they're locked into
Oh, yeah, I
the 6th,
get
they
it.
can't miss the playoffs and they can't go any higher than where they are.
Because you said if the Dolphins beat the Ravens.
I would
The
rather them
Dolphins,
sit.
yes.
I would rather them sit for a week.
Now, the only thing in this scenario is you have to root for Carolina. And we know how you feel about Carolina
Who
fans.
they play?
Jacksonville.
our
which
worst.
Jacksonville look broken, but
And Trevor Lawrence doesn't look.
that's the one game where it's like, oh, man, that could ruin all this. But it's just a different scenario that
It's an interesting scenario, but it's not a
yeah.
scenario you want as a Bills fan. Like the scenario you want.
scenario one is
is
the
the-
Ravens to kick the piss out of the
Which
fraud-ass
if
Miami.
they play
Dolphins, yeah.
anything like the way they did on Monday night
Mhm.
against the 49ers, which, by the way, if you would have told me going into that game, I thought were the absolute best team in the NFL, and now I'm over here scratching my head a little bit. If they play half the way that defense played,
Yeah.
they will beat the Dolphins. I mean, it's and you know,
Yeah.
but it's any given Sunday, dude. It's this league
Well,
has shown that this
Dude,
season.
I threw it in our group chat, and I'll say it here: if the Ravens, or if if Miami beats the Ravens, they got my respect, 100%. That's I won't say anything bad about Miami after that.
The
but
only good news that I have for that game, in my head, is I just keep telling myself the Dolphins are going to the Ravens. They're playing in Baltimore. That gives me a little bit of a peace of mind, especially if maybe, I don't know what the weather's gonna look this Sunday, but if maybe weather can just be a little bit in the Ravens' favor, you can get that that Maryland rain or something, just something to just maybe knock those guys off a little bit.
This is also for
But
the 1 seed.
I was gonna say so that's the other thing.
This is essentially for the 1 seed.
That's the other thing that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. Is it's like both teams have just as much stock in the fight as the other. Like,
Oh yeah.
They're throwing their
so
best in.
I was gonna say like it's not like that's the thing that originally made me nervous. I was like, oh god, like what if somehow this game's just not that important to Baltimore? And it is. Like it is important. So that's the good news for Bills fans is Baltimore doesn't want to lose this game. Like, and they want the AFC to run through them. And if they win this game, I believe do they clinch the first seed in the AFC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's say so. That's I can't even remember the last time the AFC ever ran through Baltimore. Like that year that they won the Super Bowl, I don't even know if they were the first seed when they beat the 49ers.
No.
Back, like I was saying, like what 13.
No, I don't think they were 1 seed.
I would say probably back then was probably like the Patriots or like the Broncos or something like that. Like because that was right around the time.
Yeah, I don't think they were a 1 seed.
Yeah. So I'm sure they want the AFC to run through them. They play well at home. Other than I think they lost to the Colts or something. Did they lose to that? Remember that really like
This year?
That one really gritty game against the Colts where it was like 33-30. No, the Rams rather. The Rams. Did they lose? No, they definitely didn't because Lamar is just amazing against the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
They almost lost though. I don't know if did you catch that?
Yeah.
I would say they almost lost that game. Yeah, but of course they want the AFC to just run right through them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about Lamar, the 49ers. I want to have an MVP talk.
Lamar Jackson is not the MVP of the NFL this season, and he probably will get it, of course, if the season ends. But I'm going to shut that down right there.
So he is the betting favorite now. Am I right?
Yeah. Yep.
Pulled
ahead of Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, he lost his chance. That game right there, he lost his chance.
So if you say that, then Dak's out.
He was already out.
That he was the betting favorite before the Bills game.
Not all right. This is totally me. This is me not being biased. All right. Josh Allen, he goes and wins these next 2 games. He wins the AFC East. He makes a run in the playoffs. He's already had 40 total touchdowns. He's got to make a run for that MVP, right?
The only issue is the NFL puts so much stock into your record
I
that
get it.
an amazing story doesn't matter to the NFL.
So it's like,
But you can't go with Purdy and you can't go with McCaffrey because they both got their ass kicked by Lamar. So as
And
far
my
as
thought
I'm
process
concerned,
is
is
the quarterback award.
right. What sucks about it drives me. I hate this award. I wish the NFL would just come out and say this is going to go to the quarterback from the team with the best record. And because all this conversation that everybody has for the entire year just pisses me off because they're all great conversations, but it doesn't matter because they're. I'd be surprised. It should go to a running back this year, like McCaffrey, or it could go to Hill, but it's not going to. And they'll have excuse, well, he was hurt, and all that crap. But Mahomes, it's like they want to give it to certain people, and that's just the way this league runs. And I just wish they'd get away. Just stop calling it that. Just calling it the quarterback on the best team, right? And just stop waste. But it's a cool conversation. And I would say that I know where you're going with this because I had this conversation with my family over the weekend. Go ahead, let's say it because I'm right with you on this. What you're going to say? Yeah.
well, so and it's kind of funny. So I don't know how many touchdowns I saw. I don't know if it was Sneaky Joe or if it was Nate Geary who posted it, but it was like a screenshot of I don't know how many rushing touchdowns McCaffrey has this year. So it was
20.
like 4.
He's tied with Mostert now.
Well, yeah, but for rushing touchdowns. I thought that was like total touchdowns.
Oh. I saw something. You keep
Anyways,
going.
it was
Keep
just
talking, man. I'll look it up for you.
Look it up.
McCaffrey's got a lot.
The only reason I want to see how many he has before I say what I'm about to say because the tweet that I saw was just like if you look at it the way the tweet came out about is there a way that I can look it up on ESPN? That app that you love?
You might have to go on you search in the search bar and look up McCaffrey in the search bar.
Right here. Okay, yeah, right here. He has 14 rushing
I was
touchdowns.
just about to say, yep.
14 rushing touchdowns this
That's
season.
total.
Totals
Pretty sure that's total touchdowns, 14.
Okay, so 14 total touchdowns this season.
and a lot of yards.
Josh Allen has 13 rushing touchdowns, and how many passing touchdowns? A shit ton.
Yeah, shit.
So
27? 27
Whatever equals up to
no,
40.
No, but let me put it like this perspective. I understand Josh Allen plays quarterback and Christian McCaffrey plays running back. Christian McCaffrey he's an amazing running back. Like he is a generational running back.
Yes.
He's amazing to watch. He's fun to watch. But I will say, and Nate Geary put it like this, I believe it was him, and it was like, imagine if Christian McCaffrey had 27 passing touchdowns. Your quarterback's one touchdown right behind him. It's just like, bro, he is the league. I'm gonna say it, he is the league's best all-around player right now.
Yes.
No one can prove me wrong about that. Yes, I'm a Bills fan. I got the Bills logo right here. I'm incredibly biased, but prove me wrong when he's just like I don't like the stats just back it at this point. Like, he's got the most total touchdowns. These quarterbacks are catching up with him on turnovers. That's the funniest part. Is Mahomes is right on his ass for turnovers. That's all Nick Wright wants to talk about. Is Josh Allen loves to turn over the ball. He loves to turn over the ball. Nick Wright's a fool. Nick Wright loves Patrick Mahomes, right? Like that's he gushes over the guy. Well, his guy that he gushes over has way less total touchdowns than Josh Allen. He has just as many turnovers.
Chiefs have the same record as the Bills, by the way.
And the Chiefs have the same record as the Bills. It's just like, and it sucks because you guys both just nailed it on the head. Like, it goes to the team with the best record. It goes, and it's every single year. Christian McCaffrey, rightfully so, probably deserves the award, him or Hill, because they've rightfully so in their position groups that they play. They've just done outstanding things this season that most players wouldn't have been able to do. Like, I mean, you can't see, you wouldn't have seen another receiver do what Tyreek Hill's done, like, in the NFL. But in what we see in the NFL now, Tyreek Hill's putting up generational numbers. Christian McCaffrey's putting up generational numbers at the running back position. And it just sucks because you're just never going to see that award go to either of those two positions. It's a quarterback award with the best record. So I'm sure Lamar Jackson's going to get the MVP, his second time of his career. I just
know he doesn't deserve it.
It just sucks, man. It sucks because, like John said, nobody cares about the pity story for Josh Allen about winning 5 games in a row, making the playoffs, and having 47 total touchdowns to 15 turnovers.
My issue is, like, you know, you can say like Lamar doesn't deserve it, but at the end of the day, he plays the game, and his team is going to be the number 1 team in the AFC. That's what it is. My biggest issue with the MVP award is, if you look at it, it's most valuable player. I get it. You need a franchise quarterback to be good and compete. I get that 100%. But if you take Christian McCaffrey off that team, what do you have? You take Tyreek Hill off of that team, and I think they are 4 and whatever. I don't think Miami's good. Obviously, you take Josh Allen off that team, we're nowhere. Mm-hmm. That's my issue with the award, is it should be the most valuable player to that team. That's all. I mean, the award, that's why they have Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, because that's that MVP. I'm with him, man. Just change the name of it. Best quarterback in the league award.
It is what it is now at this point.
You know what I mean? It's not an MVP. It's who's the best quarterback.
The last non-quarterback to get that award was what? Adrian Peterson. And he deserved it. I don't think you'll ever see it again.
This year, I would be honest with you, I would love to see Allen win it. I think he deserves it. If the award is true to what it actually says, it's Christian McCaffrey, without a doubt. That's my opinion, but that's why it's an opinion.
No, I agree with that.
Conversation, get the emotions flowing.
Now the issue is now somebody's going to be upset because you go to Offensive Player of the Year. Well, who is it? Is it McCaffrey or is it do they do AFC and NFC, or is it overall? It's overall, isn't it?
I think it's overall.
Yeah.
I think it's overall.
So do you go Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey? You know what I mean?
Then that right there.
Yeah.
That right there will be a fun debate to have, right? Because they're two rightfully so deserve it. Like they're both putting up generational numbers.
What record's better? That's what it comes down to.
Go down to record, who played more games, which at this point, I know McCaffrey is usually, he has an injury bug. I mean, he's been the healthiest he has been.
Is pretty much.
And he looks the best he's ever been. So, hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
I will say also, if the Eagles' offense didn't self-implode, A.J. Brown would still be on Tyreek's tail for yards. Because there was that one stretch where he had 140 yards consecutive.
Yeah, I know, dude.
And then Jalen
I
Hurts
was
stopped throwing to him.
by the way, holding my breath this past week about watching that Eagles game. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
dude.
Thankfully, I didn't need A.J. Brown in my other league. I am in the championship in my other league as well. So
some extra stock here and that we didn't get into is me and John and Casey's league are playing in the championship against each other this week.
Sure are, man.
Which that's badass. If you'd have told me that when we were doing our draft, I'd have told you you're probably right.
Yeah, not only am I in the championship in this league, our dynasty league that Tank and I talk about, I'm playing Jackie's brother-in-law. He's being dope about it.
Is this your Desmond Ritter league?
Yes.
Wow, I remember sitting
Wow.
going to like the home opener telling you, wow, you got Desmond Ritter. You're so stupid for that.
My starting quarterbacks
You're in
was
the
C.J.
championship.
Stroud and Russell Wilson. And I've been without C.J. Stroud the past 2 weeks, and I've won. So, but he was dope enough to split the money. So I'm gonna win out either way, even if I lose or win the Super Bowl.
Split the money.
I mean, you
Yeah.
aren't doing that.
Hey, it was
Unless
his
we
idea. miraculously
tie.
It was his idea.
No.
I've
So,
heard of this.
I'm getting 100. He's getting 100, but we're actually gonna play for the trophy.
So the first,
Interesting.
it's funny you said the first time that I heard of that being a thing was today at work. So at work, one of my manager's sons is in the championship against, I think, my boy Ben that was in the podcast, if I'm not mistaken. And the manager brought up, he's like, oh, I wonder if they're going to split the money or something like that.
It was his idea.
I was sitting there like,
Weird.
I'm like, nah, I don't think so, man.
I came over to
$350? Split that?
I didn't grind all this
Split
time
that.
I didn't make over 70 moves in just Casey's league this year to split the money.
No, I can't wait, dude.
See, the
'cause
first
I
or
just know you're
second.
gonna beat me.
Hey, dude, you got to stop me. I might be the first guy to go back to back.
So, yeah, and I mean, there's some stock, man. Casey brings me into the league, taking over his dad's team, which there's I gotta honor that, right? Like
Yeah.
I gotta come through. I told myself that you gotta at least make the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then you gotta make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, and then we're making noise. But here we are in the championship. So I feel like if he's watching down, he's not disappointed in what I've done with the organization, but
He will.
That's his team.
he might be disappointed if I get my ass kicked this week.
So I might be speaking in the future. I'm glad we're splitting that money because
Why?
he's loaded.
This is your team?
No, this is his team.
Oh, yeah, you were fucked.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm glad I'm splitting this money.
I don't know. When I look at teams like that, I really do think, like, is this league, like, not overly knowledgeable about football?
It is a dynasty league, though.
Okay. Yeah, still. Okay.
No, I mean, so a lot of fantasy football. Obviously, this is the time of the year.
This is the
last
time of the
week,
year,
but
man.
this
You
is
got
the
to have
time
a
of the
little
year
bit
right
of
here.
fun with the NFL.
Even had DK Metcalf
Hopefully,
too. He chose DK.
hopefully next week on the podcast, if we beat the Patriots and the Dolphins lose and we win the Emerge Lombardi, that'll be like the best episode we've ever had.
BillsAholic winning the Super Bowl before the Buffalo Bills.
I said it when we were down in the draft room. I was like, our goal is to bring a Lombardi home for Bills Mafia.
I had like the wimpiest comeback because we had the first overall pick. We picked Justin Jefferson. I said, yeah, we have the first pick. That means we're in first place.
Yeah, that might have.
It's
It
true.
doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
I had the
it might be
wimpiest
true.
comeback, but
It might be true,
I
but
had nothing left to say. I was nervous.
But I think it's a good time to go into our weekly pick'ems here. Oh, you're good, Maranto. You're good. In fairness, we didn't really give you a good heads up there. We just kind of rolled right into it. So, you're first call up for Maranto, by the way. It's going well so far.
Doing all right.
Maybe we'll have to evaluate things between him and Tank in the offseason. There might be a little bit of bitterness right now between us and Tank. Jets and Browns, Thursday Night Football.
Flacco returns to New York.
Joe Flacco, a little bit butthurt that maybe the Jets didn't give him a call? Is that what I heard this past week? Joe, you made the right decision, man. You made the right decision. Go play for the Browns. The Dog Pound. This game's, by the way, being played in the Dog Pound. So last week on Weekly Pick'ems, I made that like Raiders Chiefs over the Chiefs choice just out of clear spite. Like I just did it.
You had a few games this year.
Yeah. The problem is I have a few games where I pick the team that shouldn't win and they do, and then I have teams where I I missed the whole rest of the schedule, right? That's why I'm in the position I'm in this season. Now, I'm probably not going the Jets here. I think I'm going to roll with the Browns. I teeter-tottered the whole entire time leading up into this. I teeter-tottered in my head about it. I think I'm going to go with the Browns here.
Give me my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, give me that good defense against the Jets, whatever quarterback they have starting this week. Zach Wilson, he's already ruled out to his head. Trevor Siemian, is that who their starter quarterback is this week?
Against that Browns defense, it doesn't matter.
Dude, shout out to Tank, man. Pats get
Yeah.
big dub on the road.
Oh,
Tank.
Tank keeping
Last
the
week
board alive.
Last week he won something, and that was like you said, he put something on the board, and he's victorious. Just not victorious.
No.
Not victorious.
And his team lost.
We're putting that damn
Double
sticky.
doink.
We're keeping that thing right there, dude. We're keeping that thing
Yeah.
right there.
Bad week for Tank, man.
I am gonna move it real quick because I need to be able to see the schedule.
Ooh.
Saturday, Lions at
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Finally, a nice little NFC matchup here.
I say it every week. I am a Lions money line kind of guy, so
We're gonna have
I
so
don't like Jared Goff against this defense.
hey, give me the Lions.
so I'm gonna go Dallas.
I'm gonna go Dallas.
Dallas is
too.
back at home. It seems to be the only place that they can actually win football games. I'm gonna go Dallas here. I like it though, a little early on split. So we got the Cowboys.
When I actually watch the Lions games,
Lions.
I just see how bad Jared Goff is, and like Lions have to go after a quarterback after this year.
I'm going to defend Jared Goff just a wee bit, just a tiny little bit.
Do it.
I don't
That
like
offensive line is so goddamn bad. I am shocked that they run the ball as effectively as they do. That interior O-line is
Gibbs, man,
terrible.
he's different.
Gibbs
Okay,
is.
David Montgomery's running all over the place.
D-Mon
Like,
too,
what?
yeah.
I'm just a Lions fan, I guess.
Cowboys.
I guess so,
Cowboys,
man. They're
Lions.
I'll
the
take 'em, man.
Lions just kind of make me think they're like the Bills of the NFC right now. Like
They won their division.
I don't know,
for
man.
the first time in like what 30 years.
That
Yeah, they did.
that
They
defense. That
Shout out to
defense
the
is
Lions.
that defense is nice, and Dan
did. The
Campbell.
Lions?
Yeah, I think the Lions have a pretty decent defense.
They're way better than last year's defense, yeah.
I was gonna say like the reason there's history between like the Bills and Lions. Like you go back to like Ralph Wilson like early on in like the '60s. I'm pretty sure the Lions helped Ralph Wilson establish the Bills, if I'm not mistaken. So I like the Lions, man. I don't have any ill will or bitterness towards the Detroit Lions, and I don't have any ill will or bitterness between their fans. But I'm not a Jared Goff fan either. But I kind of agree. I don't know if he does enough to get that done against the Cowboys. Although the Cowboys obviously are starting to do exactly what I would have told you they would have did, and that's go on this decline and play like frauds. They're frauds. They're fraudulent. Dolphins at Ravens. This is the next most important game next to what the Bills play this Sunday, and this game right here. This determines whether the Bills are playing for an AFC East title in Week 18 or if they're sitting their starters potentially. We don't know. But Dolphins at Ravens, this game is this is tough. This is tough because you had the Dolphins going into this past week who couldn't beat a team above 500, but then Dallas comes into their house and I'm not going to say they handled them because that was a close game. And they almost did let that slip. But it's going to be tough, man. Like I said earlier in the podcast, if the Ravens just show up the way half of what they did on defense against the 49ers, who the 49ers I think have a better all-around offense than the Dolphins, although I think the Dolphins, when healthy, they have some weapons that are lethal. This is tough, man. This is tough.
It ain't tough at all.
Yeah.
Ravens by $1 billion. I have no faith in Miami.
I'm going Dolphins.
Wow.
Now, I just don't think.
I hope you're so wrong.
I hope I'm
And
wrong.
I know you hope you're wrong.
I was going to say, I absolutely hope I'm wrong. I got a feeling that
You don't think the Ravens can do it 2 games in a row?
it's not that I don't think they can. I just know that there's football gods watching above us that just don't want the Bills to win the AFC East this
I
year.
respect it.
So
Yeah.
I'm going Dolphins in hopes that I'm wrong next week. The Dolphins, obviously, they're not a. It's tough because I think they are just not a really great football team. Like you said, when Tyreek Hill is not in there, they're a different team, man. But I heard they're also potentially without Jalen Waddle until the playoffs. With a high ankle sprain.
He took a nasty injury.
Now,
You could see it.
that high ankle sprain, and there's a there's his name's the Thigh Doctor on Twitter. I don't know if you ever see him. It's he always comments
like
on
his
Bills
page.
injuries and stuff. He did say, he was like, this is an injury for Jalen Waddle that it will probably take him out for the remainder of the regular season, and then once he comes back in the playoffs, he probably won't be as effective as he was before he had the high
I didn't
ankle
even
sprain.
see his injury. I only saw him get poked in the eyeball.
Oh no, he came back and then sprained his ankle. Like got rolled up on the sidelines and sprained his ankle.
That's one guy where I said it last year. He is just soft, man.
He does find a way to just
Cannot
get hurt.
stay healthy.
Yeah, the eye poking thing was kind of funny. So I took a parlay with Olivia's cousin on. We were watching that game, and
You win.
no, Jalen Waddle was the reason I didn't win. I took 6.5 targets for Jalen Waddle, and he had 4 in the first quarter, and I was like, wow, what a lock. Had Dak Prescott 2.5 sacks, that hits, and then I think I had like Tyreek Hill yards that hit in like
That
the third
always
or fourth
hits.
quarter, and then the Jalen Waddle targets were 4, and he needed 6.5 going in out of the first quarter. I was like, yeah, that's an automatic lock. Nope, he gets hurt now for the rest of the game. So.
Brutal.
But I think I'm gonna go Miami here. I just think Miami finds a way to get it done, and
I think I'm gonna go with Johnny. I'm going the Ravens.
I like it.
Out of spite, and also, that
Mine's not even out of spite, man. If the Ravens can shut down the run game, which the only reason the Niners had any chance to run the ball was because McCaffrey is McCaffrey. If they shut, like, I have no stock in Mostert and Achane. I don't think they're very good backs. I mean, Mustard, whatever the fuck his name is, Raheem.
Mostert.
He has all those touchdowns, and quite literally, it's either comes from the 1 yard line because they can't do a QB sneak because Tua might like break his neck, or he's wide open. I went back and watched like all of them. He has like 2 or 3 that are like, that's a respectful touchdown. I just don't have that.
Now,
No stock there.
part of the reason why I'm also doing this is last week we went Cowboys across the board, and unfortunately all 3 of us were wrong. So maybe if I'm like, ooh, Dolphins, maybe the football guys will be like, no, you're getting an extra loss in the loss column. The Ravens are going to win. So I'm just trying to take one for the
I
team.
respect
here,
it, man.
potentially, okay?
Respect it.
Take one for the team. Patriots at Bills, man. I mean, come on.
Biggest game of the week.
I'm gonna be real here. The Bills. There's just no way.
You're
There's
not gonna say you're saying the most important.
game of the week.
I had
Thank
to
you.
say it for him.
I know,
Most
dude. I was
important
waiting
game of the
for
week.
it.
It is the most important game of the week, but it's like the game above it to me. It's just like you can highlight a bunch of times because, I mean, that's
Won't mean nothing if the Bills don't get it
lose.
done.
If the Bills lose,
yeah.
I agree. I'm gonna go with the Bills here.
Yeah, give me the Bills.
I was gonna say no.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. Yeah. Let's go Bills.
I mean, you already lost to the Patriots.
Last regular
like-
season game in Buffalo.
Potentially, last
Regular.
season, but
Regular season, yeah.
potentially you'll see a playoff game here. Who knows? Yeah, it's just you already lost to this team. You got a bad taste in your mouth about that. You're in your home stadium. You've played your best games here, obviously behind Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
That's just a game where if you let that slip, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
My only worry
I was thinking that
is
last week.
Bill Belichick will have his guys ready to play and fired up because last year around this time, we knocked them out of the playoffs with Naheem Hines' 2 returns.
Yep.
And this is potentially Bill Belichick's. Well, it is Bill Belichick's last time playing the Bills as a Patriot. So
And, yeah.
I think he's gonna have his guys ready to go, kind of like the Chargers game. But you got to weather the storm and take care of business.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Come out guns.
I didn't really think about that, but
Just something fun to think about there.
it's food for thought. It is food for thought. One of the most irrelevant games of the week here for me. Falcons at Bears. Falcons came through for us last
I really
week.
don't care about this game.
They
Falcons
did.
came through for
They
us
sure
last week,
did.
and they've earned the
They
right
did,
for me to
though.
go Falcons.
You give me the Bears.
I went Falcons. And to be honest with you, I just read Falcons Bears, and I just probably said eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because I really don't care.
This is the type of week where I'm either gonna catch Travis or Chris is gonna catch me.
Well,
It's
there's already 2 splits that
Yeah.
that we have on each other, so that's 3
There's
because
3.
I chose the Dolphins.
There's
Yeah.
really 2 weeks left in the regular season for these
Yeah.
weekly pick'ems.
I gotta try to make something happen.
Shit, I gotta try to make something happen. I gotta go with the opposite. Every pick
Yeah,
that this
that's
guy
true.
does, I just gotta do the opposite at this point. So far, I'm almost agreeing on everything with him
Yeah.
besides the Dolphins game. Raiders at Colts. Give me the Raiders. Give me the Raiders. I am pounding the table.
The Raiders
Antonio Pierce, man.
They earned my respect
Antonio Pierce.
for right now.
He beat the shit out the Chargers 2 weeks ago on national television. He walks into Arrowhead, where the Chiefs know if they lose that game, they are eliminated from number 1 seed contention. The Chiefs needed that game. That is in their stadium, and he knocks them off too. I think he's got a pretty damn fired up squad right now. He's making a case to potentially get a chance at that job next season. I mean, the Raiders hopefully should do the right thing here, because I don't know if you guys remember, like 2 seasons ago, or maybe 2 seasons ago, they had that special teams coordinator they called up to be the interim head coach. He had a similar situation where he got the guys ready to play. They played well the last couple of weeks, and then they gave the job to McDaniels. And then here we are again. Like, it's just like, hopefully their owner is just like, okay, let me take a step back and look like they're playing their best ball with this guy. So I think he's giving them a case to potentially get that job next year for real, dude. Like, I mean,
Does O'Connell get the job next year too?
No, they better draft something.
yeah, no.
You better trade or draft something.
No,
O'Connell
because
is not it.
O'Connell is not the reason that they beat the Chiefs.
No.
That defense.
Their defense is the only reason.
That's what I'm saying. He puts together
touchdowns
such a
in
good
7
defensive.
seconds?
He puts it. That's a solid defense that he's got playing there. Jack Jones looking like a really great addition for the Raiders. I mean, he's had 2 defensive
That was a
touchdowns the last 2 weeks.
Patriots draft pick, right?
Yeah, and then they released him. Really don't understand why, because he's like he's definitely you can play him, and he's a good corner. Like, he's a starter on a lot of rosters for sure. He's a good corner, but I'm going Raiders. I don't know about you two.
I went Raiders. I liked what the Raiders have been doing these past few weeks.
I love that story, man. Give me the Colts.
Cool story, bro.
He's like, I gotta catch these motherfuckers, dude.
Not even. The Raiders have to take a step back here eventually.
Yeah, they will. They'll
I
take a
don't-
step back
I
after week
truthfully-
18 when they're eliminated from
Yeah.
the playoffs.
I'm sorry, Tank, but I don't think the Colts are amazing. I don't think they're that good, but
It's okay. Tank's not here.
I think with the Colts
Yeah,
at home,
we'll never
I'll
know.
take them.
Okay, fair enough. Panthers at Jaguars.
I don't give a damn.
Oh, you should. We need the Panthers to win.
And that would be
They're not
awesome.
going to.
Too bad the Carolina Panthers might just be the worst JV football team I've ever watched play football.
JV.
They almost caught the Packers.
Almost.
They won 2 more games than I thought they would win.
Well, yeah, they're 2-13 right now, 2-14.
It's 2
right
more
now.
than I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
I truly thought we were going to see an 0 for team.
Almost.
I'm going Jaguars.
I'm going Jags.
You know what? No.
Go ahead. You stay with
No.
He's got to catch up anyway.
No. I'm going Panthers.
You sticking with me?
I'm going Panthers.
I'm going Panthers.
I'm going
Is
Panthers.
T Law playing this week?
I don't know.
Because I saw they just signed Matt
Well, I'm
Barkley.
gonna be honest with you.
I don't. Hey, he's been questionable. He's
He-
been banged up for the
I was
past
gonna say,
5 weeks.
Did you also
That
see
guy
that,
can't- you
did
wanna
you
talk
also
about a
see
guy
the
that-
hit he took?
Mhm.
I
His
sent the
face
picture in
was
one of our
like
group
all
chats.
discombobulated, and
He's taken a beating. That O-line, like, dare I say they're frauds? They started off so hot, and they just, God, they just fizzled out really, really quick.
it is
After
kinda
that
crazy.
Bills win, you could see it. They started fizzing out. They beat some bad teams. Everybody's like, yeah, the Jags, man, I'm in. And they're just completely fizzled
I can
out.
see this game being some odd score like
Like 9-6.
9-6,
All field goals.
I
Like,
can-
yeah.
I could
15-7.
I
Yeah.
could see me sitting with my dad at the game this Sunday. I'm just like, yes, let's go, dude. Like, I got that one right.
Yeah, that could
Which I've
be a
done this
very
season, by
boring
the way,
game.
where I'm looking at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, ooh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Which clearly I'm not right very often.
Dude, I'll tell you what, that game and the Falcons-Bears game might compete for worst game on the docket.
Yeah. Titans at Texans.
I don't even know. Is CJ Stroud playing this week?
Questionable.
I'm gonna go with the Texans just because I think Will Levis and the Titans, besides helping the Bills out a couple of weeks ago.
Tannehill.
Oh yeah, Will Levis he's out. Yeah.
Pretty sure he'll still be out. It'll be Tannehill.
Yeah, and I don't trust Tannehill with anything, so I'm gonna go Texans.
Fantasy hasn't updated yet.
Give me the Texans.
Hey, let me go Case Keenum for right now until Stroud comes back.
So
Yeah, Texans.
okay, I was gonna say I'm not.
He
too
plays for the
terribly
Texans,
sure.
buddy.
Case Keenum did not
Well,
play
okay.
horrible. He threw that late game pick, but he didn't play terrible.
Not these past 2 weeks.
Rams at Giants. I'm actually gonna tell you that I'm sure Tyrod Taylor probably starts this game.
Yeah, the Tommy, Donnie,
Tommy,
Fami,
Danny,
the fraudulent cutlet.
Something.
He's toast. It was fun while it lasted, though.
it's over. It's over.
4 or 5 weeks it lasted.
It's
Yeah.
fraudulent, but it's
yes.
expected. It's
What was it,
expected.
It was fun, though.
Second, third play, Tyrod was in, threw a dot to Slayton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest with you, Tyrod Taylor, dog water.
Yeah, he's not going to get the job done.
No,
He's
he
not-
won't.
he's not gonna beat the Rams.
I just have to
But-
hope and pray Saquon goes stupid. That's all.
They might. He's got hope and pray Saquon doesn't go stupid.
I need him to go stupid.
Come on,
Yeah, give me the Rams here, man.
Yeah, I like the Rams in this one.
Yeah, Cardinals at Eagles. This is an easy one.
Give me the
I'm going the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, give me the Eagles, man. I mean, they have to bounce back eventually.
yeah,
And what
This
a
is
team
the
to bounce
team,
back
yeah.
to.
yeah. I guess if
Yeah.
there was a way that you were
Eagles
gonna boost,
across the
if
board.
you're gonna boost your confidence going into the playoffs, you'd probably want to play the Cardinals. Saints at Buccaneers. Jesus, I will say Baker Mayfield, given the Bucs a run for like, okay, maybe he's your quarterback next year. A Mayfield, I think me and you are in the same boat. We don't hate the guy.
I love
You can say
Baker.
you don't hate the guy.
I'm a
He's-
big Baker
You
guy.
feel for him.
I feel for him. He's a gritty quarterback. Like I'm gonna go Buccaneers here.
Give me the
Like
Bucks.
I would say, he's
Bucks across the board.
I would say
Yeah.
he's like
I love
I
Baker.
like what the Bucks are
I
doing.
would say I don't necessarily dislike him. So Bucks across the board. That's the last game in the 1 o'clock slate.
Dude, I was
believe.
close to having a Baker Mayfield Browns jersey. I was close. I almost pulled the trigger just because
Just cause.
I like a lot of like a lot in the league, dude. Like I have favorite players outside of the Bills, so it's like I do have a McCaffrey Carolina jersey. Had a couple. I had a Kaepernick, we'll say.
Oh wow.
So
All right, 4 p.m. Another important game for the Bills here.
Yep.
Steelers at Seahawks. I'm going Seahawks.
we need to see turds.
Not even because I'm not picking them because
Never
of
heard that before.
because of what, but I don't see the Steelers with Mason Rudolph walking into the Seahawks house.
Yeah, the Seahawks haven't been playing great, but being at home will help them. And the Steelers are the Steelers.
Is that a Seahawks across the board?
Yes. I Steelers are dog shit.
Say it, man. They're frauds.
They're frauds.
Bengals at Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have lost 3 of their last 4 games. You just quite honestly don't know which Chiefs team you're going to get. You also don't know which Jake Browning you're going to get. You're either going to get Jake Browning, who looks better than Joe Burrow, or you're going to get the worst quarterback that you have in the AFC North. I picked against the Chiefs last week. I was right. I'm not picking against the Chiefs again. I'm going the Chiefs here.
I'll take the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Yeah, I'm going to pick
That's
the
a
Chiefs.
big reason there.
Yeah, Mahomes gets it done.
It's hard to pick against the Chiefs when they're in Arrowhead, unless they're playing the Bills in the
That's
regular
close.
season.
Oh,
Calm it down.
I'm piping it down. Chargers at Broncos. Wow. Okay. The Broncos. We are all like, God. There's no way the Broncos lose to the Patriots, right?
Oh, but they did.
They found a way to do that.
Yeah,
Do they find a way to lose to the Chargers in Easton Stick?
they might.
They do. They do. They find a way to lose, and the Chargers win this football game in Denver.
I'm with them, unfortunately.
You going Broncos?
I'm going Broncos.
Give me Easton Stick.
Give me Easton Stick coming off of an important. Well, not an important for them, but an important game for the Bills.
Yeah, it is
He
best
almost won.
fucking game of his career.
Yeah,
It's
of his 5-year career where he played
Yes.
0 starts before
Yes.
that. Well, he obviously played the week before, but Packers at Vikings.
I
mean,
honestly don't care about this game
Man.
at all.
This one's actually big for the NFC.
I'm gonna go with the Packers.
I like Green Bay.
Fuck.
Nick Mullins.
See, I almost
Looking-
might refuse to
Give me,
go. I might.
give me the Vikings.
I don't want to go with what you. I'm statistically, like, I'm strategically, I should say, gonna pick against you here and flip my pick.
Why?
I need some way to get a leg up on you and start to get a couple of games. I'm gonna go Vikings here, just specifically to try.
I wasn't doing all that. I just took them because they're home.
He's looking at the board and
I get it, man. You got to be strategic.
I'm strategically trying to make
He's
a
down
move
8
here.
games.
I can see the Vikings win this game. Wait, did I say Packers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that
You
what?
have Vikings written there. I
I-
do see it.
what time was my notes at?
That was well before we got here.
All right, so
That's a Vikings across the
My
board.
bad.
and I already got mine written down, so I'm not changing it.
It does say Vikings, but
that
As
would
of
be against-
5:46 p.m.
Truth be told, that'd be against the rules for me to change my pick right now.
My bad.
All right,
All good, man.
that's our week 17.
I think we've had enough splits.
Our week 17 slate, yeah, but not enough between me and Travis, which just enough between me and you, but it's just like
Like I said, dude, I'm either going to be dead last or I might be first at the end of this week.
I mean, yeah, you're only 3 games back, which is insane. Damn.
He started late.
The good news is we got the regular we have next week, and then we have obviously the playoffs, so it'll start to get, obviously it'll be harder and harder to catch up with the playoffs, but I mean 144 and 73, damn, 141 76, and then 136 and 81.
It's not bad. It's really not
No,
bad.
I mean all around, like I'm not mad with being 50 games above my losses. 55. That's not terrible.
Get to the 140 club.
I'm trying, man.
I'll tell you what, if you don't get to the 140 club at the end of this week, something went horrifically wrong in the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to say that'll be quite interesting if I'm somehow not in the 140 club next week. But once I get to the 140 club, I'm sure you guys will be in the 150 club. So I would quite literally have to get just about every single game right to get into the 150 club this week, which don't really see that happening. But
I love it. It's a good slate, man.
Absolutely.
Coming down to the wire in
is
the
a solid
AFC
slate.
and
Obviously,
NFC.
Dolphins and Ravens, essentially the most important game besides the Bills and Patriots. Like you said, if you don't get it done, then there's.
I think this is a really good year for football in general, man.
It is.
AFC looks actually like
Different?
the top is competitive. Same thing with the NFC. The top is competitive, and I mean, you got teams like Detroit winning their first division, and
like
since we were all born,
yeah, that's
So.
crazy. Holy shit, that's crazy.
30 years.
That's crazy.
it's I think shaping out to be like a really exciting Week 18 if things kind of fall into place in both AFC and NFC.
100%. I am looking forward to that, man. I'm looking forward to Sunday. Like at work, they'll make fun of me because I fantasize. I'm fantasizing this week, and it's unfortunately the wrong part of the month to be doing that. But I'm 100% fantasizing this week. I want to just skip to Sunday 1 o'clock.
I want them to just send Belichick out of Fox or out of the Patriots organization with just a fat 30-point loss.
Yeah, agreed.
That's ideal.
Agreed. So Maranta, this is about the time we get into our Who's the Man. Who's the Man?
He was on it that
He
time.
was right there. He was right there. That was- when we review the film, we'll look at that and that. I don't even know if Tanks played it that fast before.
Drop it like Diggs.
No.
Oh.
Ooh. I like that because
Tough.
I've been angry with
tough.
Diggs lately. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's something going on there. Who's leading us off this week, man?
Either you two.
No, I'll lead us off, man.
Wait.
Okay, you lead us off.
I'm
man.
only. Didn't you start us last
I
week?
don't remember.
You did.
I'm gonna start us off this week.
Okay.
I'm gonna start us off
Cool,
this
man.
week
I
because
love it.
I think the guy that I don't know if he's gonna be able to get it. I think you could get it.
Okay.
All right.
Who are you kidding? I can't get it.
Drac. Yeah, I know. I could pick Josh Allen, and you'd probably still get it wrong.
Yeah. What college did he go to again?
Wyoming. Oh
jeez.
gosh. Oh.
What's the color of those?
Drafted in the 4th round by the Bills in 2003. Played a total of 122 total games for the Bills. Went to Northwestern State. Played for the Bills between 2003 and 2012. He recorded 17 interceptions with the Bills and recorded 5 kickoff return touchdowns. He was here for a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
2003 to what?
2003 to 2012.
4th round pick.
Can you read those again?
Yeah,
My
absolutely. Absolutely.
Forgot the college already.
Northwestern. The college wasn't. I
Northwestern.
had it in there.
Was
like,
there any teams?
or
Did you not say any teams?
So he only actively spent time with the Bills. He never even suited up for another game. He played for, I believe he signed with the Texans after his 2012 season with the Bills, but he did not suit up, put a jersey on in the preseason or anything like that after his tenure with the Bills.
That's a good man.
He is quite literally, he only played for the Bills.
I can picture him Can't think of his name. I can literally picture him returning a kickoff right now.
I'll run through let me run through everything again for you real quick.
Okay.
Drafted in the 4th round by the Bills in 2003. He played a total of 122 total games. Went to Northwestern State. Recorded 17 total interceptions with the Bills. And recorded 5 kickoff return touchdowns. He played through the Bills through 2003 and 2012. I believe the team that picked him up after, like you could even go on his Football Reference, and they wouldn't even have another team listed. But I think the Texans might have signed him after, and he blew out his knee or something. He never even put a jersey on for another team. Like, didn't make it out of camp or nothing.
Defensive player. Gotta be a cornerback or safety, right?
I will say it is a cornerback or a safety.
2003 to 2012.
Rancho, you got anything over there?
I like you, I could picture him, and I just couldn't remember his name.
My brain doesn't go back
yeah, I
that
know.
far. I might
Like, it's almost like prime drought. Like just
Right.
one of the
I might-
highlights of the drought.
I might just be out then.
I will admit, it was tough those years.
That's all you, John.
I
Because
know.
by Thanksgiving, I always felt like mathematically,
The Bills.
if
did this
4
and-
teams' planes crash on the way to the away game, we might get into the playoffs. Like it was hard. So trying to find guys like him, and I do remember this guy now because I cheated and looked it up. But I do remember him, and he was fun to watch.
I might sneak both of
I
you.
wish
this
I had
week.
more than one guess.
That's
'cause
all him.
Because the rule of thumb is putting it in the phone notes, and I think I got him.
I mean, I'll throw this down. I don't think this is. Don't even know how to spell his name.
There's another guy that I wish I could
Alright.
come up with. You got nothing, Travis?
Would you shoot with Leotis McKelvin?
Wow, that would have been badass. No,
I would've guessed-
Terrence McGee.
Terrence.
Fuck. He just.
Son
was
of a
at your
gun,
work.
dude.
He was just at my work. The whole reason that we went.
I was
with
gonna
him
put
was
McKelvin in my phone too.
Leotis McKelvin.
That's all I could think of.
See,
from
Leotis
that
McKelvin
drop.
played a little bit. He was
Yeah,
he
I knew
was
the dates weren't right, but
later
I wanted to throw
2000s
something
and then
out.
played into. I think he played for the Bills up until like the 15, 16
No,
season.
I knew
under
it was
Rex
wrong.
Ryan.
I just didn't want to go on unguessless.
No, I got it. I like it.
Fuck, dude.
All right, I'll go.
I never thought. I thought that you after you would. I thought you'd get it.
You ready?
That one was, yeah.
It was a good one, man.
College, Miami Hurricanes, 65th pick of the 3rd round in the 2005 NFL Draft. Played for. Here, let me delete this name so I can actually be comfortable. San Fran from 2005 to 2014. So he was drafted by San Fran in 2005. Colts 2015 to 2017. Dolphins 2018. Bills 2019. Jets 2020. 5-time Pro Bowler and 2010's All-Decade Team. He currently works for 49ers as a football advisor.
You don't got the name on there, right? I can just look at
No,
it.
you could just look at it. I deleted the name.
San Fran Colts.
Drafted by San Fran.
Dolphins. Bills. Jets.
Obviously, it was San Fran the longest.
Oh yeah. Don't mind if I do.
I showed him the phone. It's only fair.
Don't mind if I do. So spent an enormous amount of time.
The longest.
I got it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I
I
got it.
don't.
I got it.
It's. I'm sure he does have it.
I've got it in my phone. I've got it. Let's go.
It's neat. It's a good pick.
That is a very, very underrated good one. I like it. And I didn't get it right away. So that's the best part. Like, yeah, that's why I really like that one. Like, it's not like you got on the 3rd one. I was like, all right, man. And I think Peretti, you might have it over there.
I don't think so, pal.
When I opened up my mind, I thought defense the whole entire time.
Who was the defensive player?
I would have been lost if I didn't
I was
open up
sitting
to
on
the others.
defense until I just thought of one season with the Bills. It's the only player I got.
You guys ready?
Let Chris.
He's right.
Frank Gore.
I had Anquan Bolden. It's only
That's
San
a good
Fran.
one.
It's the only San Fran guy I could think of. I could not think of Gore. That's a good one. I went 0 for 2 this fucking week.
Well,
So I'm about to go 0 for 3.
I
so
got
no
a chance
worries.
to go. I probably won't go 2 for 2, but
Frank Gore, dude. That was a good one.
which is crazy because I told Jack this week, I was like, "Ooh, John has a chance to catch Travis this week on the Who's the Man segment." It's, mathematically speaking, you can't do that until potentially next week.
No, I don't think Travis has a shot at mine.
Probably not.
I might not either.
Probably not.
He's a TCU Horned Frog, drafted 46 overall by the Bills in 2001. Played with the Bills his whole career. Retired after the 2009 season, so it's 2001 to 2009.
Yeah, not a chance I have this.
Pro Bowler in 06 and 07. This is the giveaway. Second all-time in sacks for the Bills.
Bruce Smith.
Well, I know who's first, but
Bruce Smith.
I have a guy in my head. I have a guy, but I just don't know what college he went to, and it's a,
Yeah.
no, fuck it.
I should know this because it's the second all time on the sacks.
That's kind of why.
I'm just gonna lock that in.
2001 to 2009.
I just don't
8
know where he went to
years.
school. I've got my answer,
Yeah.
so I mean, I almost want to just. No, I mean, I'll wait. I wanted to verify it and just look it up real quick, but my answer is set in stone.
I'm going to keep you guys waiting.
I went Chris Kelsey.
Nope.
Who is it?
Oh, you don't even have a guess?
No, I
It's
can't.
Aaron Schobel.
Oh, Aaron Schobel.
I wanted to guess that.
So I went with him because that's around 2007 to 2009 is when I started going to Bills games with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And the one time we sat in the tunnel, he signed like I think I had a football with me, and I mean, fuck, dude, he's second all time in sacks. So
Oh, that's super cool.
That's
no,
true,
I like that.
so
Let me take a look. Where does Chris Kelsey?
it's funny you said him.
Chris Kelsey, not even in the top 10.
It's crazy you said him because last week I was gonna do him, but there wasn't like if you look at Chris Kelsey, you think like as Bills fans we think like, dude, he was actually pretty solid.
Well, he played in more games than,
Yeah.
than
Dude,
Aaron Schobel did for
Dude,
the Bills.
his stats are dog.
Yeah, no, only
He has nothing, like-
32.5 sacks.
Dude, he had like nothing to go off of. I would have to give you guys like,
Wow.
yeah. The only reason that was literally why I never went with him because I was gonna do it last week. I was on his reference page and he just had nothing to go off of.
I know that he only had like nothing for sacks, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna get a point.
Tough week.
So it's a tough week on Travis. That's fine, though. I'll
Dude, I went over.
I'll be the laughing
I had a
stock
complete
of,
brain. I should have had Frank Gore.
Yeah, that one you're gonna. It's just
Yeah.
like Travis with the Reggie Bush one.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I named off all of the top things for Reggie Bush,
Mm-hmm.
and then I thought for sure, as soon as I said that he didn't even gain a single positive
Yeah.
yard for the Bills out of the whole entire season, I
It
was,
rings the bell.
like, damn, these guys are gonna get it off that stat.
Yeah. Well, I had it at 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're like,
But for
yeah, I mean, if you know like where he got drafted and
Yeah.
the story behind him getting drafted for sure.
I'm disappointed, man. I'm 0 for 2.
13, man.
Damn.
Gabe Davis. You guys are stuck on Teron Johnson.
That's a good player to be stuck on.
Yeah, at least yours will be on the Bills next year.
And then when you get 14, it'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be at 14 next week. No way I go 0 for 2.
I'm gonna come with some more heat, man.
You just did, man. That was great.
I'm gonna start going.
I don't know why. I thought for sure. Like, I'm going to be sitting here for a little bit just thinking Chris Kelsey just.
That's the thing. Like what?
Like,
Before,
I'm thinking that's the perfect era, too.
before I looked at his Pro Football Reference page, because we're all Bills fans, right? We're like, yeah, dude, he was pretty good. Like, he was nice. Until you actually look, we're like, yeah, that was mediocre. He was pretty mediocre.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that makes sense because prime drought Bills were
Yeah.
always just even
Yeah.
they were lucky to just be mediocre.
Yes.
Like all the players were
Yeah.
mediocre.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a couple good ones in there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, not really.
Actually, I was gonna say I'm looking back. I'm like, yeah, no, not really. Not really. Well, no, there is.
It fits.
London Fletcher, right? He spent a good amount of time
Fletcher
here.
was here.
There's
Brandon Spikes, Takeo Spikes, one of them.
Both
of them. It was.
Oh yeah, I would say they had Brandon Spikes and Takeo Spikes.
Mario
Williams. When
Kyle
he was here.
Williams was here.
Poor Kyle, man.
I mean, Jerry was here. He was decent. Offensively,
One year when the only Pro Bowl selection was the punter.
Brian Mormon.
Brian Mormon.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like
nice.
Brian Mormon.
It was just so hard. It
For the
was
brand.
just so hard. And you know what? I remember those years. Like
Sean
my
Taylor
kids
did,
were really little, and and you'd get to that. It's Sunday afternoon. You work all week, and you're just. It's gonna turn this off and go play with my kids because I could, and it was there were years that were tough there, but I mean there were, the running back. Why am I drawing a blank on the running back we had for a few years? That was just he was such clutch, and he was such a good dude.
Fred Jackson. Are you talking
Fred
about?
Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, it was there were some nice dudes in there that they just couldn't put it all together, and then they would have those seasons, and they would get to that like point, and then they'd be like, "Oh, here we go, 7-9 again." It was just like always like, and let's be honest, every year you had to go up against Tom Brady like twice, and those would be a lot of times those were the games that really they couldn't just get over that hump to get into the playoffs. They missed the wild card spot.
Yeah.
Like over and over and over and over again.
Remember that season, like 2011, where Bill started off 3-0. I think they beat the Chiefs they're the Chiefs home opener, but the season opener, and they beat the Raiders. And then New England came to town, and they were losing by like 20 points, and they came back and won. And it's
Remember they had Malarkey, and he won like 3 games in a row or 4 games in a row, whatever it was, and then they gave him a really great contract extension. Then he stunk.
Yep.
He was like a player, like where they get the big contract and they all fall apart, and they ended up firing him at the end of the year, and then they had to eat that money. There was just one bad decision after another. Like it was just so frustrating.
A snowball effect. That's why I love doing the Who's the Man series, because it's like, yeah, you could put in one of those guys that like played over here the last couple of years or something, but then you throw in like those prime drought players, and I think it's fun. I think it is fun for sure.
Oh, it for sure is fun.
I'm gonna be mad about the Schobel one.
Schobel was a good dude too. Like he was fun to watch. He was a great leader for the field. I was mad when they let what's his face go. Beast mode when they let
oh my
Marshawn.
gosh.
Marshawn was just, and he was such a great dude. Like everybody knew he was kind of he was like, he didn't want to be in Buffalo. Like he wanted to be in a cool city and all that stuff. And it was the wrong city for him. But he was fun to watch, and he was fun to have on the team. But they just couldn't make him happy.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
I know you took a look at the Bills' all-time sack leaders. Yeah, it goes Bruce Smith 171, and then Schobel at 2 at 78.
I know, dude. It's like a insane difference.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put it together, man. Like
Jerry
I forget
uses
that
4.
Schobel was as effective as he was when he was here.
That's why
I think there's just one
threw
clip
in.
that just plays in my head about Kelsey, I think, and maybe it was Schobel. Now I think, but I don't know. But Bills played the Patriots on like Monday Night Football, and they had this is dating way back.
Yeah.
Trent Edwards was the quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. So this is dating back a little bit, but like Chris Kelsey, if I'm not mistaken, had like a pick 6 on Tom Brady that game. Ball gets batted in the air. He picks it off. He runs into the end zone. Or maybe that was Schobel.
It might have been.
I don't know, but
Might have been I think.
But like I'm picturing that in my head. I thought it was Chris Kelsey.
For some reason, I think Chris Kelsey is really only known for. I actually read this. You guys can continue.
I'm curious. I got to see this Chris Kelsey thing, man, because I just feel like that's the reason why I'm picking him here, man. Was 'cause no, Cowboys pick 6.
Yep. Yeah, I got it right here.
Cowboys pick 6,
Yep.
and the Bills should have won that game. They managed to mess that one up too. No shocker.
Go
No
Bills.
shocker. At least they didn't mess up the other week against the Cowboys, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's
It
a
is-
game. I've actually watched the highlights back on that.
Yeah.
Watching Tony Romo play in the Bills, and yeah, they should have won that
It
game.
was fun to just go look back, talk about some players that.
Yeah, 100%. But looking forward,
Yeah. Yep.
Bills have, obviously, like we say, their most important game because it's the next one on the schedule. And division rivals are always tough. Like it doesn't matter if you're 4-11 or if you're 9-6. You're gonna get their best shot. Like they both don't like each other. Bill Belichick, like you've already alluded to, this could be his. It's already kind of confirmed, like his last game against the Bills. I mean, if rumors are true, they're planning to split ways after the season.
Yep.
So, there might be some extra dog in the fight for that. Hopefully, the Bills just find a way to get it done. Like, just get it done.
Yep.
Defensively, that's a defense again. That's definitely not easy to play against. They've shut down. I mean, they did what they made the Broncos look. I mean, not that the Broncos I was ever worried about them. I know they came into Buffalo. They won. They shouldn't have. If we just don't have 12 men on the field, should have never even gotten to that point.
It's
but
just a Billsy loss.
Just the Bills are gonna Bills.
Yeah, they
like
will.
That. But the defense has played well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, it's just tough. That's about the only thing I can talk about for the Patriots, right? Because the Patriots offense looks terrible. Like I just date myself back a couple weeks ago when the Patriots played the Steelers, and watching both of those teams play against each other was like, besides Bailey Zappi going off and throwing like 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, it was just such a boring game to watch.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, whose offense is just more mediocre than the other. So like the Patriots just don't have an offense, man.
I got one thing. Don't let Bill Belichick get the last laugh in Buffalo. Don't let him spoil for the Bills fans.
He just would, man, right? Like, doesn't that just almost seem like in classic Bills fashion and think that's how it would go?
Yeah.
Like, of course he would. Like, it's
Just
almost
don't
like the
let it
NFL
happen.
has that. Just
That's my one thing.
so to be. Is this a trap game too? Like, is that? The
Yeah.
way, I would say this looks
The
like
Chargers
it's got like trap game written all over because right before
Yeah.
the most important game of the schedule.
Yeah.
I know we say every single week's the most
Dude, a
important.
classic trap game. You're the better team. You need the win, and you go and you fall apart and you lose. That's just classic trap game, man.
Right. It just feels that.
Yeah,
way.
no, I mean, no reason to lose this football game.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
I think, truthfully, I think we're gonna beat the brakes off of them. I think this is gonna be. We're gonna come back next week, sit here, and be like, wow, dude, that offense was.
That was easy.
That's good, man. That's what we need. I think that's what's gonna happen, truthfully, but you never know.
I hope.
Bill Belichick runs a tough defense, so has for years.
He does. The good news is, I think, I mean, I will say the Bills' defense is as depleted as they are with injuries and, I mean, just nonsense the whole entire season, right? Like, as far as how the defense has, I mean, every week, they just felt like there was somebody going down, right? They're depleted on defense. I will say I like their odds against the Patriots' offense.
Yes.
I like if they maybe throw some blitz combos at Bailey Zappi, get in his head a little bit early and make him make poor decisions. I maybe like Rasul Douglas for a pick this week or something like that, or Christian Benford. I think you can do enough to rattle a guy like him.
Yeah.
Also, Bailey Zappi coming into Buffalo, and just gonna say, I mean, Bills Mafia knows what's on the table. Like, we'll be paying attention to the Ravens game, but we know what's on the table. I mean, they showed up for the Dallas game. The atmosphere was great. I don't think it'll be. I know it'll be the same for this week. Like, if not even
With it
more.
being the Patriots.
Let's say the division rivals. The fans never really fare well here. We haven't lost a division game in Buffalo this season. We beat the Dolphins and the Jets here.
Make 3-0.
I was gonna say we have a chance to go 3-0 with that.
I just don't, Chris, man, I can see it right now. The first or second Patriot drive, they might score.
They might.
I just remember this, dude. Just stay grounded, man. It'll be okay.
I'm actually better at the Bills games than I am.
Are you? Good, man.
I am better at the Bills
in
games.
classic, we talk about classic Bills fashion. The defense looks like Swiss cheese for maybe a quarter and a half, and then they lock it up. So
Right.
I can definitely see the Patriots come out, maybe first drive, second drive, 3-zip, 7-zip, something like that. Maybe the Bills maybe say they go 3 and out. I do think this is going to be an offensive game.
Right. I will
On the
say,
Bills, I don't think the Patriots are going to score crazy.
I will say that I mean, the first drive is always like you script out like your first 15, 16, 17 plays, something like that.
Whole drive, yeah.
And those are drives that are. I mean, when you plan something like that, and if it all goes accordingly, like of course you're gonna move the ball down the field. I always find that like the first drive on the Bills defense typically seems to be like the one where I'm like, when I'm watching it on TV, I'm pulling my hair out, right? But
Yeah.
when I'm at the stadium, I don't know what it is. Like when I'm at the stadium, I feel like I watch them in person. Like I want to ask you guys this because this is kind of something I've always thought. Like I never went to I've been watching Bills football since right around the Trent Edwards era, was really when I got into watching the Bills. So I watched a lot of Bills football on TV, and it wasn't until the 2011-12 season where my dad took me to my first game, Bills Jets, and I was like watching these guys, and I'm like, damn, like it's just so different to watch them in person. Like watching them on TV, they seem like they're superstars, they're superheroes, they can accomplish anything. Like it just felt like. You watch them in person, you see that these guys are really just humans, and I'm just like, it's so weird. Like, it's weird how the game humanizes for me, and I'm there, and I'm just like, okay, like, my dad will get pissed off. He's the same guy whether he watches it at home or he watches it with me at the game, and I'll have to, like, calm him down. And I'm like, Dad, it's okay. Like, like you got to remember, these guys are National Football League players on the other side. Like, they're going to get a couple of first downs. They're going to eventually put some points on the board. But when I watch it on TV, I'm the exact opposite. Like, I'm right there with them, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I said at the half, well, right before the half, I was like, yeah, the Bills are going to lose this football game. Like, the Bills are going to lose this football game against the Chargers, right? So watching it on TV, I get this weird feeling. But when I'm at the game, I truly am just.
Yeah, I get it, man. Hey, I get it.
But it's I get into it so much, dude. Like people at work when they say that I truly fantasize, like, yeah, in my head the whole entire week, I'm just amping myself up to be sitting in my seat. I love, dude. It's my favorite place to be in this world is sitting in my seat. And I'm gonna be heartbroken when, like, yeah, okay, I'm excited for the new stadium. I have a special love for Highmark Stadium. It's not Highmark Stadium though. It's Rich Stadium for the longest time. The Ralph Wilson Stadium. The Ralph, man. It's my favorite place to be, dude. I love the atmosphere. I love when the weather's a little bit nasty, dude. It's just got that gritty feeling, man. I love that place.
For sure, man. One more thing, just check the tomorrow when they head to practice. Diggs might be limited or questionable for the game. He got rolled up on. I think you guys saw that. Yeah. They just called it like an ankle or a knee or something, but he should be good. Just when he pops up on the injury report, I don't think it's anything serious. I just saw that Sal Capaccio reported on it, but they haven't done a practice yet, so there's no injury report.
I got a couple shout-outs. Josh, breaking another record, of course. What else is new? Our first 1,000-yard rusher since LaShawn McCoy. I don't feel like that's getting a lot of attention. I've seen nothing about it. That's pretty huge being a Bills fan.
He did have like a really quiet. What do you have? 20 for 70?
I think he had 70 rushing yards.
Yeah,
I think
very quiet.
I think the only reason that got overshadowed was because he just had a very crucial fumble.
That's yes.
And I think that
I totally forgot to say that, dude.
He has no luck at so
fumbled, and McDermott put him right back out there.
Yeah. So did you hear what he said?
Trust is there.
Same with Hardy.
Same with Hardy.
Did you hear what he said? He said we had to put our best football players on the field at this time of the season.
I cannot believe I had it in there too.
Pod. You're saying it week by week.
Yeah,
just our best playmaker.
I was gonna say there was no point where when Jimbo fumbled that ball. Yeah, okay, I was pissed off, but there was never at any point where I was like, yeah, that's it. I want to see Leonard Fournette back to the whole entire game.
So it wasn't like Hardy.
No, Hardy. I don't even think I really like. Yeah, okay, maybe I got pissed off, but
it was what it was.
I kind of understand that. Like, if Hardy's not back there, who is gonna be back there?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like Shakir, Hardy's he's before he played for the Bills was an All-Pro punt and kick returner. Like that's. He knows what he's doing. Like, I'm not like, yeah, okay, he pissed me off, but I agree with McDermott. You got to put your best players on the field.
That was just very good to see.
One last thing. Bills have their first 1K wide receiver and running back for first time since 2012, Stevie Johnson and CJ Spiller.
I like that stat. I like that stat.
First time since then.
One of my favorite Bills of all time, Mr. Why So Serious, Stevie Johnson. Because Stevie Johnson, before that game right there,
he was leading.
I would say where Stephon Diggs, I think, went over 1,000 yards. Stephon Diggs became, or what was that the week before? I can't remember. But Stephon Diggs became the first Bills player in franchise history to have 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. But before that, Stevie Johnson held the record with 3. So Stevie Johnson was my boy. I was at the game where he actually broke that record from Andre Reed, I believe it was. where he got 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. It was actually the way he got it. I think the cornerback was Calvin Pryor at the time.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
it was like it was a really contested football. He like jumped in the air and landed on his back.
Yep.
It was so badass, dude.
Yep.
So I like that stat. That's a cool little stat for sure.
That was a good little
For sure.
tidbit.
God, hopefully, man. Hopefully we're sitting here next week. Happy Bills fans, man.
Hopefully.
We
Happy
better.
Bills fans.
We
We
don't wanna
should.
be- we don't want to be frauds.
No, we don't want to be frauds. Another
Fraudulent.
solid week for sure for us on as far as our reels on YouTube did really well this week, and TikTok not as much, but we had a huge stretch in a row where TikTok was just like bam, bam, like we were just posting these bangers, right? Panthers won, we were right. The whole entire Panthers fan base came. They watched that TikTok. It got about 253 views. So that sounds about right. The whole entire fan base pulled.
Told you, man. They're not gonna get upset. They're like, yeah,
Like,
no, we get
Yeah,
it.
okay, yeah, no, that
We spent more for the hot dog than we did our seed.
yeah, that math adds up. No, but I just want to say shout out to everybody that shared our videos around this
Oh, yeah.
past week and tuned in, and shout out to Maranto
I was gonna
tonight.
say,
I would say shout out to Maranto
for
tonight
holding down the fort
coming
for
through
Tank.
holding down the fort for Tank tonight. He did a wonderful job for us. And we
Interim head
appreciate
coach.
that a
Appreciate
lot.
it. Intern
and then
producer.
Interim producer.
Whatever.
Yeah, so
You know
we're
what I
super
meant.
thankful for that.
Asshole.
And we're super thankful for Tank allowing us to, be in the Emerge Super Bowl this week. Thank you, Tank, for not showing up this week.
Thanks for the free win. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I'm gonna pipe down a little bit because we do got a big game this week to focus on.
It's okay to be
We'll,
cocky for a
we'll,
couple
we'll mess
days.
around with our schedule and we'll figure it out. But definitely looking forward to maybe hosting the Lombardi next week. So, big week for Bills fans. Not gonna drag that out any longer. I'm super excited, and hopefully we get a big win against the Patriots here. Anything you guys want to add?
Go Bills.
Just win, man. Just win.
Find
Beat
a
those
way.
Pats.
Find a way. Go Bills.
Go Bills.